That's Clementine, currently working away, building the bubble nest. But the main change for this tank is this massive Monstera leaf. Look at it. It's amazing. What's up, guys? I'm Lucas and welcome to Terracotta Aquarium. Happy New Year. It's New Year's Day today. I just wanted to make a little video on Cory Mountain and also the Blackwater Jungle tank that's in the other room. Just want to go through and talk about how the inhabitants are doing, about all the plants and anything that's changed since the first video I made on this tank and on the other tank. So yeah, let's do it. So first things first, the inhabitants in here have been doing absolutely great. We're looking at the pork chop rasporas at the moment, and they have been thriving, growing a little bit. There is one of the threadfin rasporas. We've got a couple in there with our group of 11 here, but they've been doing great. They freaked out a little bit when I set up this tank with the platinum Medacas, just because their normal space was kind of here in the sort of open area underneath the filter. And they were a little bit freaked out to be able to see the Medacas, but since then they have been calming down and moving back into their area. They were spending a lot of time on this side of the tank as they were adjusting, but they've been doing great. I think they're beautiful, and they make me super happy, as do all the fish. The Corys, you can see down here. Oh, looks like they're hiding from the camera a little bit, but they've been doing great. We've got 5 stir-by Corys in here, and they've been laying eggs like crazy. A couple weeks ago, I found in this spot here a patch of about 9 eggs. So they're doing great, breeding like crazy. Maybe we'll have babies at some point, but I'm not sure that any of them are going to be able to survive in here. But who knows? We'll see. And if you take a look here, we've got a bubble nest. And you can see right there, that's Clementine, currently working away, building the bubble nest just behind the filter outlet. And yeah, he is working hard. He's been chasing around Marmalade a little bit. See if we can find her. Oh, there she is. Hiding in the back here. But yeah, they've been chasing each other around. I think Clementine really wants to have some babies. We'll see if it happens. They did breed in the last tank that they were in, and this is the first I've seen of any bubble nest or anything like that in this tank. So I think it's really cool that it's happening. Unlikely, again, any fry will survive, but you never know. You really never know. There he is, working away. You might be able to see too that he's developing some sort of black speckling on his, I want to say chin there, but kind of right below his eye. And yeah, that is a telltale sign that he is interested in breeding. There are some of our Cory friends hiding underneath the dwarf sage and the bacopa. I sort of think of this area in this corner as kind of like the Cory garden, because they spend a whole lot of time in there. Oh, but here they come. But as you can probably see if you watched the last video, the plants are really exploding, especially this dwarf sage here. It doesn't really look dwarf anymore. It's growing pretty significantly, almost like you'd expect Vallisneria or something of that sort. And it has gone all over the front of the tank, over into this corner. There's even some growing out from behind the hardscape. And so I expect to see it moving around the back of the tank here and coming up into the corner. It's fun to watch. Oh, and there's Marmalade. Hello, Marmalade. But yeah, the dwarf sage is doing great. Java ferns in the center here are continuing to reproduce. It looks a little bit unsightly here. There's some sort of moss ball that has kind of exploded, but I put a little bit of moss on there, and there's also some Monte Carlo, which I kind of moved over onto this hardscape because Monte Carlo can grow as an epiphyte, which I wanted to experiment with. So you can see that. And unfortunately, I did have a moss ball in here that is kind of infecting a lot of things. I'm kind of removing it as I go. You can really see it attaching to the pothos roots back there. But it is what it is. It's not hurting anything. And when you look at the tank head on like this, you can't really see it. So not a big deal. But the Bacopa in the back here, I actually just trimmed it because it was going pretty much all the way to the surface. It's doing great. I added a little bit more. You can see there's a couple of sprigs kind of hidden away back in here. Oh, and the pork chops are saying hi. Hi guys. But yeah, I trimmed that Bacopa back there. And I actually moved the cuttings to this back corner here. And I did the same thing. I trimmed a little bit of the Vallis spiralis and put it in this back corner. Because looking head on at the tank, that back corner, looks a little empty in comparison here. So when I did that, I also moved the filter inlet right there. It was in this back corner, but I decided to just move it over there. It's probably better overall for the circulation of the tank. And it'll sort of let these plants grow without being inhibited by any excess flow or anything like that. Let's see, what else for the plants? The little red plants in the center are actually doing pretty well. They've had a pretty decent amount of growth, so I'm happy to see that. And there's some Ludwigia just there that you can see, and some more over here. And it's growing a little bit strangely, as you can see, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm just going with it. And one plant that I didn't talk about before is this just patch of Anubias barteri that I tossed in at some point. It's the only Anubias in the tank, and it looks good. It's cool. I think it's just sort of chugging away slowly. I think some of the roots are kind of buried into the substrate, and I don't know if that's really what this plant wants, but it seems to be doing all right. And yeah, Java ferns doing fantastic. I've been clearing out the floating plants like once a week. I'll just take out a few big handfuls, but they're doing great. And the pothos here, you can see there's like a black spot on the leaf just there. And the leaves are looking a little anemic, so I'm not totally sure what that means. I think it might mean that there's not enough nutrients anymore in the water column, or maybe even where they're in the substrate to be nourishing them as they should be. So I think it might be time for some root tabs in the substrates, and maybe I should increase the fertilizer, but I don't want to do anything too drastic straight away. So yeah, that's the plants. But overall, with Cory Mountain, I'm really, really excited about it. It's super fun to do the kind of maintenance sessions where I can essentially just create more plants, like in this back corner. So yeah, I'm very excited. So before we move into my office where I've got the Blackwater Jungle set up, just wanted to talk for a minute about the Blackwater riverbed that I've got set up here. I want to do a bit of a separate video on this because it's been not the easiest startup period for it, but just wanted to let you guys see how it's progressed so far. I added this kind of mini monstera to the top part and clipped this light on to the shelf here to give the monstera a little bit more light. But that's the main sort of change that's happened with the tank. Plant growth inside is doing fine. But yeah, I'm not going to get too into it at the moment. I want to do a separate video talking about this tank. So let's move into the office and look at the Blackwater Jungle. All right, so here we are. The jungle in all of its glory. I just did a video on this tank, so there's not too much to talk about in terms of the plant growth inside or the inhabitants. I mean, they're all doing absolutely great. This tank is a little bit hard to film because it's so dark in here and I get so many reflections. You can just see my hand right in the center there. But cardinals are doing great. All of the Corys are doing fantastic. Oh, there's Chester. There he is. He's growing, doing his thing. He's such an active little guy. And Tiger Lotus doing great. I think the peace lily is actually bouncing back a little bit. I need to go in here and remove some of these flowers that have died off. And that's totally natural. That's just part of the peace lily's life cycle. But it has been growing more roots in the back here. So I'm taking that as a good sign. Oh, looks like I got a little floating bit of Anubias. That's probably from the Corys. But the main change for this tank is this massive Monstera leaf. Look at it. It's amazing. The Monstera, the stalk of it is just incredible. And that happened over about a week after I took the first video. We've also got this other new leaf right here. So it's just fabulous. And it's just doing so well. It's really incredible. But it has kind of planted itself here with these two major stalks and said, okay, this is where we shoot straight up into the air. So I'm excited. Hopefully we're gonna get some leaves with those beautiful fenestrations, but not yet. We gotta wait. And as before, the root system on this guy, just incredible. And the roots on the pothos, it's sort of hidden away back here. Everything is just going in this tank. So I feel just super happy to have this in a place where I can be in my computer doing whatever I want. Just look over here at this calming jungle. Yeah, very, very happy with it. All right, guys, well, that's the video. Just a little look back into Cory Mountain and the Blackwater Jungle. Hope you guys enjoyed following along here with me. Stay tuned for more updates on both of the tanks, and also stay tuned for an update on the Blackwater riverbed here. I'm gonna do a whole separate video talking about that one. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in the next one.